You are a leader, whether you want to accept that responsibility or not. You have the opportunity, the potential, the capacity to have an influence and an impact on yourself and the people around you. Listen up. You are a leader, whether you like it or not. I'm going to share a quick story. A man named Richard Strozzi Heckler, who wrote a book named The Leadership Dojo, he tells a story inside of this book of when he went to go visit the Hadza tribe in Tanzania. This was a nomadic peoples that he and his team spent some time around to observe their way of building community and how they negotiate with some really hostile terrain in Tanzania. And when he was speaking to these peoples, one day they observed that the women were digging and collecting tubers, which are like root vegetables, potatoes, etc. And one of the members of the team that was observing this Hadza tribe, they made a joke about the women doing all the work. It was kind of like, masculine banter. And one of the men in the tribe, the leader of the tribe, he said to this other man, well, we all know how to do every job. It's important that every member of our tribe know how to do every single task and responsibility that there is. Essentially, we are all leaders, because if one of us were to die, if something were to happen to a chunk of us and the others didn't know how to make a fire or how to forage for food or how to build a shelter, then the rest of the tribe would suffer from this, perhaps die. And in this book, Richard Strozzi Heckler goes really deep into this concept that so many of us resist and even fail to identify as leaders. Just pause for a moment and ask yourself, do you identify as a leader? When you look at yourself and how you are in your life and in your relationships, do you often see yourself as a leader or the leader in your community? Because for the Hadza, every single one of the members of that tribe was a leader. Every single one of those members was prepared to do whatever it took to take care of themselves and to take care of the people. And I love this idea of leadership because when it compares to the specialized nature of our society, the one that most of us live in and participate in, it's a reflection that we are so dependent on other members of our community for basic means of survival. It's never been more evident than when we have some of these unexpected natural disasters, and all of a sudden people don't have clean water being pumped to their houses, or the grocery stores are shut down and there's no access to food. The immediacy with which some of us fall into desperate circumstances because we don't know how to do basic life-sustaining things for ourselves is a reflection of how ill-equipped and ill-prepared we are to navigate the world. What if the whole system were to collapse? What if everything were to fall apart tomorrow and all of a sudden you had to take care of your family? It's terrifying. I think about that for myself, and I think about how much time I've spent in the outdoors and how I'm capable of building a shelter, but very rudimentary skills. I would feel confident for a period of time to take care of myself and my family, but beyond that, there's very few of us who are really prepared to wholeheartedly step into that position of leadership and preparedness. So why do I bring this up? Because the longer that each of us fails to see ourselves as a leader, or to really embrace the responsibility of leadership, the less prepared we are as a people. The less prepared you are as a husband or a father to take care of your family when times get hard. When that unknown circles around the corner and hits you square in the face when you weren't expecting it, how are you going to respond? How capable, how vast is your container to be able to tolerate the unexpected twists and turns in life? We've all been seduced into this lifestyle where we hunt at the grocery store, and water and heat and all of these valuable human resources, life-sustaining resources, are just provided to us for a small, negligible fee. We're able to go and acquire the things that we need for the exchange of a few hours of our time in an office or in a workspace, work environment. But to truly be a leader, to truly be prepared to act and behave the way that's necessary when things are uncertain, I think there's a lot more of us who are not fully equipped to step into those roles. And so the reason that I'm bringing it up here today is not to infuse panic in anybody, not to generate any kind of fear or stress or worry that the world is going to collapse, but to actually begin considering, how are you preparing yourself to take care of yourself, to take care of your family when the unexpected arrives? It doesn't have to be a natural disaster. It doesn't even have to be something as large as the collapse of the economy. It could be, but what if it's just the loss of a loved one? What if it's simply losing your job and having an unexpected health event simultaneously happening at the same time? How well equipped are you to move with and blend with the adversity that comes your way? You see, we become so specialized, even the way that we're educated in schools. We don't give our bodies the experience of going through difficult and challenging times. This is why I think it's so valuable to go and spend time alone in the wilderness. Because God forbid one day you actually have to. It's not even a choice. You have to spend time in the wilderness alone. You have to walk for miles with a bottle of water and the clothes on your back and figure out how to survive. You have to sleep outside without a bed, without a blanket, without a pillow. And to know that you could, and even beyond that, to know that you could forage some food, that you could problem solve and think critically on your feet when uncertain things are happening all around you. It's the risk of being so specialized as a society. And yes, many of the modern educational models have directed us to go there, to be so specialized that we can punch numbers, we can calculate things, we can read, write, and essentially do robotic tasks. But when it actually comes to leading, it requires occupying this body, being able to listen, to assess what's happening in my environment, what's happening in and around me. What is most needed here? What is most required? Those are skills that we don't get by reading a book or listening to a podcast. There's life skills that we need to actually place ourselves into to gather and glean those experiences. But we'll get more into that on another podcast episode. For today, I just want to emphasize the importance that you are a leader. Whether you want to accept that responsibility or not, you have the opportunity, the potential, the capacity to have an influence and an impact on yourself and the people around you. And I would even go beyond that to say it is your responsibility to fill those shoes. As rising men, we consciously take on that responsibility. We choose it. We claim it because we desire to leave the world in a better place than we found it. We want to set up the next generation to be more prepared, more ready, more loved, more acknowledged, more seen as they step into the responsibilities that we have right now. Here's your opportunity. If you never saw yourself as a leader before, today's the day. If you don't know how to behave and how to act as a leader in the world, then start spending time around people who inspire you and motivate you, who give you an example to grow into, who lift the standard for what it means to be prepared, to be ready, to listen more deeply, to think more critically. Right here in the Rising Man space, we've got a whole sea of men who are raising that standard each and every day. And if you want to actually do that work, if you actually want to put yourself in circumstances that are going to prepare you for a world that is so uncertain and so undefined that we don't even know what's coming next, then you must put yourself in those situations. I hope that this episode shook you a little bit today. I hope that it rattled you a little bit and got you thinking about, what does it mean for me to be a leader in my life? What do I require to confidently step into those shoes when the time calls? Because it spares nobody. It's coming. Something's coming for you. And if you're not ready, it's going to punch you in the mouth. But if you're looking and you're prepared, you're going to be able to handle that blow more effectively. And if you want to take that learning, that education for your whole body, your whole system deeper, Dojo, Austin, May 4th through 7th. It's happening here. Putting your body in an environment where you can practice the skills that you're going to need. Give yourself the experience and the confidence so that you know how to encounter a world of the unknown. I look forward to seeing you guys. Look forward to having you join us for Dojo. And make sure you share up this episode with anybody out there who you know would benefit from hearing this message today. Peace out. Much love.